Well, welcome. It's been a while since I've done a video concerning Indian artifacts, but I received a number of requests to do some, and I won't be getting back out into the field probably for, let's see, it's February 20th something, so probably a month and a half, 2 months. Last year I was able to on my birthday, April 2nd, so maybe this year again. But so in the meantime, I have 2 metal boxes here, and I have about 30 of these down in my basement. And when I was setting up my little museum in the basement, I put artifacts in these boxes with the intent to go back and label them, and I didn't. So I thought I'd open these up with you and see what's in them, see what surprises there are there, and talk to you a bit about them, because I really don't know what is in these boxes. So let's open the first one. Maybe. There we go. Oh, cool. It's a good one to start with. These are archaic era artifacts from here in Saginaw. And this one in particular, I hope you can see that, because this is so cool. That is a bone handle for a knife or a scraper. It would have been a stone knife or scraper. And the cool thing about this, I did a video on this a number of years ago now, actually, and I know you won't be able to see this on there, but there are etchings engraved into the bone here that the person who this belonged to, obviously put on there. So it was a matter of some personalizing perhaps this item that belonged to him. It is part of a joint from an animal, probably a deer. It has a really rich golden patina on it. Very, very nice. Very nice. Let's see what else we got here. Okay. This is a broken celt. Well, no, it's not broken. This is a celt. This would have been the pole end over here, the chopping end over here. And it's made out of a stone that's fairly light for that kind of work. But, there were different grades of work, so they might not have needed a heavy, really heavy axe or celt for whatever they were doing with this. And then up here in the corner, again, you probably can't see it real clearly. I'm going to bring that up and see if hopefully maybe you can see that. But this piece up here in the corner actually has notches, a notch here, and on the bottom. And as far as I can tell, this was for working on arrow shafts. Smoothing them, scraping them down, and making them smooth. So the other 2 pieces would be for the same thing. They're both circularly notched, about the size of an arrowhead or an arrow shaft. And so I'm assuming that that's what those are had been used for also. There's a lot of stuff wrapped up in here. Let's see here. I don't want to waste a lot of time unwrapping things and then getting to them. Here in this, there's a small collection of antler fragments. And these fragments were from the way this one is pitted on the outside and the patina, it's probably from a piece that had been worked, a tool. And as is the same with all of these pieces, they're all antler. They could be deer, they could be elk, they could be any of the larger fauna that was in our area here back in that archaic period. Alright, this one I've taken some flack on as to my interpretation of. It is a piece of limestone. It has a kind of a crust shape to it there, and flares on both sides. It has a handle type protrusion here. Is it worked by the hand of man? I believe that it is. If so, what was it? I believe that it was, I can't think of what you call it now. But anyways, it would have been a personal protection thing. It could have actually been on a really big handle, or it could have been handheld, and you could really give somebody a powerful wallop with that. And I can't believe that I can't remember what you call that. But here's another one, both from the same site here in Saginaw. And this also has, this doesn't have the crest to it, but it has the, both ends. These are blunted on both ends. This is worked on the top, but I'm not sure if it's by man or by geological action. But it has that same shape, and it would be a good piece to, just really wallop somebody if you wanted to. And you had to survive, I guess, however you could back then. Again, these items are from the archaic period, probably the late archaic period, just as it was about to come over and become the early woodland. This is a nice handheld chopper, and you can see it's got a nice bit here, and it's been flaked along the edge, and it hasn't been heavily modified, but it would be a dang good chopper. Could be used in either hand, and has a lot of patina on it. You can tell it had been handled a lot. So that's kind of cool. What else we got in here? We got a lot in here. Okay, this is another chopper. This is, I believe it's a type of limestone. I'm not 100% certain on the type of stone it is. It has been worked to a slight bevel here on this edge, and it is, again, it would have been handheld, like that, and could have been used around a campfire for food processing or for any number of things. A lot of small pieces down in here. What is this one? This is another celt. Remember this one I showed you just a minute ago. This was found at the same site. Now, this has been badly exfoliated, meaning that it is it's a sedimentary stone, and the layers have separated. And by the time I found it, it was quite thin. But it has been, I believe, sharpened here on the edge. It would have been put in a handle like that. And by the way, this is in the background, I should have told you before. It's a picture I recently got of my mom and dad. This was when they got married back in the 1980s. They both gone home to be with the Lord a long time ago, but they were two of the most special people that were ever in my life. They were my great friends. Anyways, celt. Not a good one, but it is a celt. What do we got here? What do we got here? Oh. This is a cool piece. This is a little curved piece. It's been sharpened on this end, and it was sharpened on this end here also. Now, I assume this was put into a bone or stone hand, or bone or wood handle, and used probably like an adze for woodworking. It's a very unique piece. I've only seen one other like it, and the other one that I found like it is one that I found also. It's also pressure flaked along these edges too, and it's notched here and here so that to better secure it to the handle that it would be used on. So that is a really cool piece. This is a little bone joint broken off, probably just to get the marrow that was inside of it, because that was kind of like a delicacy to the people of the Native American culture here in the Saginaw Valley. Well, a lot more places than that, probably across the whole country, both south and north. This is another piece of bone. Now, this is an interesting piece to me because it has been worked. I don't know of any bone that forms almost a perfect, like that. This one is very smooth here, heavy patina, some of it's flaked away, but it's been handled a great deal. This is, I said bone, but looking more closely at it now, I believe because of the texture here and the lack of the spongy-like material inside, that it actually is probably antler again. And then 2 more pieces, and then I'm going to shut this off and run downstairs because I want to get something else to show you too that should be in with these. And this, I believe, was a bone, perhaps dagger. This has been broken, but it was sharpened. It has a notch here, you can see, so it could have been put onto a handle. And I can see it used for a stabbing purpose. This is definitely, almost definitely, antler also. Antler also, so that's cool. What's this? Ah, a piece of paper. What's this? Oh yeah, this is another piece of antler. This has actually been, looks like it's been gnawed upon by maybe rodents or some little predator at some time. But it is very hard. These bone pieces that I find, where I find those, are very hard. So I am going to go down to the basement and find another piece that I want to show you. And then I will be back up and we'll look in the other box too. Okay, I'm back. When I went down to the basement, I came back up, I put these pieces away so we could get into this. And I didn't want to bore you with me putting them away. But the 2 pieces I wanted to go down there to get to show you. This first one is small. Piece of antler. Unassuming. Except the way it's broken makes me believe that it came up to a point and it would have been like a fluted, attachment to the arrow shaft, and this would have been a bone or an antler arrowhead. This piece, you can see it much more on. This is definitely an antler or bone, but I think it's antler arrowhead, and it comes with a sharp point. It's actually been worked on both these edges and a nice stem so that it can be attached into a shaft and used either to kill an animal or in warfare or whatever, what have you. Alright, this box, same story. I don't know what's in it, but I know it was a heavy one. I'm bringing it upstairs and I can see why. Here, oh, wow, that is a heavy stone. It has been used for grinding on all the side surfaces, okay? The top is flat and smooth. Slight depression in it, very slight. It's been used as a nutting stone, which was to say it was used to process nuts, grains, berries, whatever, probably around the cook stove, right? The hearth. But I find it fascinating how much it's been used on the edges here, how much it's been used for grinding, for the basic breaking the pieces up on top of it and then grinding it with these edges. That, by the way, would probably be, as the rest of the pieces that are in this box now, a middle to late woodland. So that would make them at least 500 years old and probably closer to 2,000 years old. Okay, now here's some other heavy piece wrapped together. Alright. This is another nutting stone. It's a smaller one. Not quite as heavy. Would be more portable. Again, you see that you can very clearly see the depression in this one. It's been used for grinding around the edges too, but not as much as this other one was. So I'm not sure what kind of stone it is. It's kind of a tannish color stone. Has all kinds of little circles and holes in the bottom, but they don't look like they're fossils. So I'm not sure what kind of stone that is, but it's a nice little nutting stone. And then, yes, this was not a nutting stone, but it was a grinding stone, because again you can see how on the edge it has been used, highly used for grinding in a rocking type manner. I don't know if you can see that or not, I hope you can, but in a rocking type manner. As it was used for pounding too. Part of it's broken away here, and it is broken. This is not the complete piece, but it's what was left as the sands of time uncovered it. I suppose the rest of it could come to the surface, maybe this upcoming season of hunting for these wonderful little pieces of the culture that lived here long before the whites arrived in the Great Lakes area. This is a unique set. This is a small, I don't really want to call it a nutting stone. Let's call it a mortar. And this is the tiniest pestle I've ever seen. These were found together, pretty much just like that. And I believe that the little pestle was used for grinding stuff in this tiny mortar, perhaps, well, on either side, but this side has more of a depression, perhaps by somebody around the cooking hearth. Something like this I could really imagine more being used by, say, a medicine man for grinding up herbs and things to use in healing rituals. So it's a very nice piece. I don't know, I can't prove that's what it is, but when I found it, that's what occurred to me, and I don't see anything there, nor have I seen anything to change my mind since I found it. And I'm going to come back to this piece. Now, here's a really cool pestle. This is a finger pestle, and it's called that because you would hold it and, use it like that. It is a reddish pink granite, very pretty reddish pink granite. And it is, this side is quite rough and abraded where it's been used for grinding. I believe there was some modification to the stone to bring it into that shape. And then just, you can see how easily it would have been used as a pestle. Very nice small pestle, not as small as that other one. But I love it. The granite artifacts have a special attraction to me for some reason. I don't know. Also in with this, but not found with it, but I have them paired together when I had them displayed, is another little, you call it a mortar, you call it a nutting stone, but actually I picture this more as a personal item. A small depression where bear grease and small amounts of, say, red ochre or graphite silvery material could be mixed and then applied to the face or body for a paint. So I really believe that that's what that is. What makes me think that, of course, is research that I've done, over the years. Now, I showed you this piece, and it's kind of like a duckbill, and here's another piece, which is kind of like a duckbill. And it was used for the same purpose. It was used along the edges for grinding. It was broken in times past, but it shows some abrasion there. So even after it was broken, I think it could have still been used for grinding on this edge, probably more so than on these edges, because there was a larger surface there to grind with. So that's a nice piece too. Ooh. It's stuck. It's stuck, kind of heavy. Alright, what do we got here? Oh yeah, this is an awesome piece. It's a pestle, alright, for grinding, for heavy duty grinding, because let me tell you, for a small piece like that, it is heavy. Interesting. It has been worked all over. It has been ground on all over. So it's been used on all surfaces. But it's definitely been used on the bottom as a pestle, for grinding. The only other reason this rest of the surface might look ground down is if they were trying to produce some other device and it broke, and they adapted it then as a pestle. But I don't think that's the case. I think that it was used for heavy grinding and abrading, and just was a very utilitarian type stone. And it is a very heavy stone. And what do we got here? Ooh, doggy, as Jack Clampett would say. It's another pestle. And this one is chert. It looks like it's Bayport tabular because it has the layering in it, if you can see that. Chert in my area here in Michigan comes from the thumb area, and it either comes as tabular, which is layered, or nodular, which it comes in a concretion type ball that's broken open. This kind of material's inside of it, and they used this material for arrowheads, spears, knives, all kinds of things. In this case, there's no doubt in my mind that it was used as a pestle. The bottom is discolored, the bottom is abraded, and it was, no question about it, it was a pestle. Small bell pestle. You can see here where a large flake was removed, and that could have even been removed to make an arrow out of. It's a nice piece. So they got it down, I think, to what was basically the core of what was left of a larger piece that they used for production of other tools. And then, being as frugal as they were with the commodities that God put around them in nature, they went ahead and adapted it for use as a pestle. And a few more pieces in there. Two more. All right. Yeah, this piece is, well, it's a black stone, black hard stone, blackish green. I suppose it could maybe be serpentine, I'm not sure. Very smooth here. But the circular type bottom and the discoloration made me believe when I picked it up that this too was a pestle. And that's what I believe it was used for. They were modifying it for something, because this here and this here are all upgraded from arc packing. You have to look up my video on arc packing, and if I can find it, I'll put a link to it in the comment section or the description section for you. So, I'd like to look at this a lot more carefully, because this could also be an effigy, but for right now I'm still going with a pestle. Sometimes it's hard to tell the effigies because they are so stylized or crude. But I have found a number of them over there on the farm field, which is where most of this material is from too. I think the only one that isn't from there is the chert piece, and that would have been from downtown Saginaw. Alright, this is another heavy stone, similar in use as this one that I showed you, except it's not been heavily abraded around the edge like that other one was. It wasn't used for grinding around the edges, discoloration on the bottom, smoothness around the edge of the bottom. It was definitely used for grinding, either pestle, muller, whatever you want to call it. Very effective tools, and none of them needed a great deal of modification to be able to be used to help in the sustenance of life, daily life, on the middle woodland to late woodland villages that were along the Saginaw River here, the Tittabawassee, and all the tributaries and everything. Cass River. The Saginaw Valley was prolifically populated, and it is astonishing to me, all these many centuries, and in some cases thousands of years, like these and the archaic pieces that I showed you a moment ago, that there is so much left, because there's been so much archaeological work done here, and there's been so many amateur collectors like myself, that it amazes me that I can go out on a farm field and still find pieces laying there that the plow has brought up. Well, look, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, I will maybe do another one yet before I get back out to the farm field. And I want to thank you for stopping by, giving me a chance to talk with you, and hopefully I will see you all again real soon. God bless you. I love each and every one of you. Stay well, stay safe, and stay happy.